I think of this game Furi. I don't know if you've heard of the Furi.
Tell me more about it.
You were this alien who was being held in a jail in space, and someone has broken you out. In order to get completely out of the jail, you essentially have to do a boss rush. So, eventually you discover that your very presence will kill the world below. If you do, if you're allowed to go out of jail, your very presence turns the plants to ash, and there's no way that the planet can live. And so not only are the NPCs that you come up against trying to fight you, they're also trying to convince you. And they're also appealing to your morality. So it's almost like the reverse of what we're talking about. Where like, in Undertale, you have the option of just appealing to them. In Fury, they're appealing to you. And there's one boss, that's her main strategy, is she is a woman who says like, look, here's the deal. I'm sure you can appreciate, I'm just trying to save my world. I'm willing to stay here and just, hang out with you. We can, this is a nice place. I think it's sort of like the fifth jail that you come across out of 9 or 10 or something like that. And it looks like a paradise. She's like, we built this for you. There are waterfalls. We can share stories. It'll be a good life. And then you have the choice as the player to take her up on the offer. You can sit down on a bench with her and you can just talk. And the credits will roll, and then half of the game doesn't get played. And I always really admired that as a sort of commitment to story.
Yeah, it reminds me of one of the Far Cry games, the one that was set in...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Where you show up at the beginning and this character comes in and says, hey, I brought you here to... says a bunch of things, and then asks you to like sit there and wait for him to come back. And most players will basically say, oh, okay, end the cutscene, and you stand up and start walking around and rustling through the drawers and so on. And if you actually sit at the table and don't leave and kind of follow what the game was telling you, I want you to, or what this character was telling you, the character eventually comes back, the conversation continues, and then roll credits. That was it. You get sort of new cutscene, and you get the ending. You're like, oh, okay. And you basically finish the game in the shortest way possible.
Yeah, speed run.
Yeah, and I think it's a nice example of sort of the game communicating something and then the player kind of trying to understand that. In this case, for most players, the genre conventions of these types of games overweighed like what a character in the game was explicitly saying. And I mean, to be fair, the creators of the game are also being kind of sneaky, because the question is like, do you trust this character to come back? Is it going to be dangerous to stick around? Should you leave? As a player, you could think like, oh, what's the right thing to do? But I think mostly it was the genre conventions. Cutscene ended, okay, it's action time. And you start wandering around and doing silly things.